Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Bubby Brister and Friends Fantasy Football Podcast presented by Mountain Dew Baja Blast. Bubby went for a walk, so I'm joined here by Nick. Nick, Anthony Richardson will be the starting quarterback for the Colts this week. Do you think we've seen the last of Joe Flacco?
I think the Colts will keep him. Him going to other teams might not happen anymore. So it depends if he wants to still be a backup and still keep collecting them checks.
Yeah, I could see him backing up somewhere. You know, it would be funny if he replaced Aaron Rodgers in New York next season.
Again? Again? He's going back to New York again?
I saw something today that, remember last time Trump was in office, the Jets owner took a cabinet position. He had to abandon the team for a few years. That might explain why they're in disarray now, actually. But I saw a headline today that he could actually rejoin the cabinet and have to abandon the team again. Do you think that'd be good or bad for the Jets? They're a disaster.
So yes, last time when Trump was in office, he took a cabinet position. He was an ambassador for the Europe, some part of Europe. That's why when he went over there and the Jets lost overseas, we were like, hey, he got embarrassed in front of all his friends as an ambassador. So, yeah, this billionaire going to get a position in the cabinet. It's going to be an ambassador, and his brother would take over the team again. I mean, his brother didn't do much better with him. So, I mean, the Jets are just cursed right now with Aaron Rodgers, that giant contract. And it's not good. Tom Brady, he gave us a false hope of what older quarterbacks could do. Because Aaron Rodgers, I'm a 3-time MVP. I'm a 4-time MVP. Look what I could do. And it's like, no, buddy. You play like a guy who's 42. It's true.
If I owned an NFL team, something that would be pretty cool, you know what I mean? Why would you take a shitty cabinet position? I owning an NFL team just seems like you won life at that point. Jerry Jones has it figured out, probably too well, where he's Lenny from Mice's Men, and he squeezes the Cowboys like the rabbit. Is it a rabbit or a mouse? What is it?
It's
a
one
rabbit,
of those
right?
things. Right, it's rabbit, I believe.
I don't know, but I just love watching the Jets fall apart. It's so much fun. And then another team that's fallen on their face recently, the Bears. They gained only 142 total yards this past week. It was their fewest in more than 3 years. It was also the second time this season they've been held under 150 yards. And on Monday, they fired their offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, after only 9 games on the job. Do you think there's any chance that Matt Eberflus is back as the Bears head coach next season?
So here's the problem. Eberflus was a bad hire. Okay, let's start there. He was a bad hire. He hired the offensive coordinator of the offensive coordinator who got fired. Used to be offensive coordinator on the Las Vegas Raiders. So you think that was going to translate well? I don't think so. And now he's a scapegoat, as if the offense isn't working because of him, not because the quarterback that we've already known in college holds the ball for a long time, and he could do really wild things against Iowa. But now you're playing against Sunday against guys that play this for their living, and he's a little demoralized right now. And if they change quarterbacks, not quarterbacks, but head coaches again, you're having another T-Law situation in Jacksonville. See what's happening right now in Jacksonville.
Yeah, poor Caleb Williams went. At least Jacksonville has been patient with Doug Peterson. The Bears are going to pull the rug out from under Eberflus, and probably deservedly so. Like you said, he was a bad hire on day one.
It's too many weapons. There's too many weapons on that team. We were talking about the Bears offense being a top 15 offense coming into this season with just DJ Moore, Kellen, forgot his name. Kellen, forgot his name. That's how
Keenan
much
Allen?
he did this year. Keenan Allen, that's how much he's done this year. I call him Kellen now. You know what I mean? Roma Duje's like there's a search warrant out for him. Cole Kmet's like value's dead. Their offensive line, they still can't do nothing. Who's a running back? Who cares? They can't use them. You know what I mean?
Swift.
Yeah, exactly. Who cares? And their defense.
He's actually doing okay.
All right, fair enough. But their defense was supposed to be the thing that could rest their hat on. They're not that good. They're okay, but it's just they're not. The offense is so inept that the defense is on the field for such a long time. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, Jayden Daniels should thank his lucky stars that he fell, quote unquote, to the number 2 pick. The Commanders claimed they wanted Daniels even if they had the number 1 pick. You know, it's easy to say after you make the pick and
it's good to say
after
hindsight,
it works. Right.
I hate how that works.
But
that's the political thing to say. We would have got you either way. Blah blah blah. Stop.
The Commanders play the Eagles tomorrow night. Who you got in that one? That's a big game.
I got the Eagles in it because I feel like Jayden Daniels has been made out already. He's laid a couple of eggs. I mean, he's played good enough, you know. But compared to like maybe like game 2 to like 5, he was like on fire. You know what I mean? He was exciting to watch. Now he's very much he isn't making the big time throws. The offense is kind of not moving like it should. He's throwing the ball to a lot more running backs now, trying to make it work. You know, and the defense kind of holding it together. You know what I mean? Last week you saw Russell Wilson cook all over them, and it's like, well, Russell Wilson, the resurgence did not see it on my pickle card this year. The resurgence of Russell Wilson. You know what I mean? He turned the clock back to 2016.
Yeah, I was gonna mention this Commander stuff when we got to my box score, but we might as well do it now. Yeah, Jayden Daniels, he's definitely slowed down from a fantasy perspective. From a reality perspective, you know, he's still protecting the football and keeping them in games. He's just not lighting up the box score, so to speak. But he's playing injured, like you mentioned. He's been slowed. He's been playing injured.
Right.
Rookie wall is a real thing. They're already 9 games into the season. College is usually 11 games. So,
yep.
and they're preparing to make a playoff run. So, you know, that's a whole nother 6 weeks if you're lucky. You know,
that's a very real. You know, you brought up a really good point. That's a really good point because college teams, especially if you're Notre Dame, you play like 11 games at most. You know what I mean? That's including your bowl game. That's it. Yeah, where in NFL you're playing 18. You're playing 17 games. That's a lot of games.
Yeah, and I think there's 3 preseason games now. I don't even know anymore. There used to be 4, but then there's 17 regular season games, 18 weeks. Playoffs if you're lucky, but. Yeah, this is another reason why I hated college football for so long, because it only goes from like Labor Day to Thanksgiving, and then they sit for 6 weeks till the stupid bowl season. And the new trend that's developed in the last I don't even know 10, 15 years is, and rightfully so, is guys opting out of the bowl games. So now you're getting like the spring team at the end of the season in a game that, quote unquote, again, is the biggest game of the season, and these guys didn't even play.
If your draft stock isn't worth it, if it's not the actual playing for the championship, and you're just playing for like the Miller Lite Heads Up Bowl or something, or they all have these ridiculous names, the Gaylord Perry Bowl and this that. You're playing one of those, and you're like, all right, I'm going to play the NFL on Sundays. I don't want to get hurt in this game right here. That matters nothing to me. It matters everything to the college. That's money for them. No, I'm not going to blow my leg out, and then all of a sudden I go from being a second-round draft pick to not being undrafted. That's a big deal in money, big deal in advantage and time for you. So, and unless you're trying to build your draft stock up, that's a big deal as well. You can do that, but you could build your draft stock up really going to the East-West Shrine game or doing
the Senior Bowl.
Senior Bowl and all that. You could do that. That's where you could build your stock up.
Yeah, because the Senior Bowl, you actually work with NFL coaches. They send a staff down there to. It's a huge scouting thing, but
right.
Yeah, I'm a little.
It's a big deal with the practices are a big deal because you're practicing going against people that are legit and you're doing reps. So you're essentially doing combine stuff, but against like a real competition. So if you look good doing that, usually you could kind of like mail it in at the combine because they're like at the Senior Bowl he was really great. So
yeah, so I'm a little worried about this Commanders-Eagles matchup tomorrow. They're gonna have Brian Robinson back from injury. We'll see how much he gets used, but that was also a big reason why Daniels was, I don't want to say like left out to dry, but he didn't have a huge crutch that he'd relied on in Brian Robinson. They don't want to overuse Austin Eckler, understandably so, because he kind of fell apart the last 2 years with the Chargers. But that's enough for the first segment. You ready to get these box scores?
Yeah, let's jump in.
If we had real production there, I would have played like some kind of sting to. All right. Yeah, here we go. Week 10. We'll start with me. Fantasy football team versus Mile High Salute. I finally won a game I shouldn't have won. I had a bad week. I only scored 112, but my opponent didn't even break 100. He stalled out at 99. Mile High Salute falls to 4-6. I improved to 6-4. Mile High Salute was 4-3. 3 losses in a row. They are reeling. He had to play Aaron Rodgers at quarterback because Jordan Love was on a bye. Not that Love is anything spectacular, but Aaron Rodgers is definitely broken. Yeah. He got 42 points from his backfield, which is almost half his total in Jonathan Taylor and James Cook. But and George Pickens had a nice game with the aforementioned Russell Wilson. He's been great since Wilson took over quarterback. Pickens, 5 catches, 91 yards, an incredible touchdown catch in the end zone against the Commanders. And then the only thing I have left to say about Mile High Salute here is I traded Ricky Pearsall to Lionheart for Jalen McMuffin, who I was still trying to replace Chris Godwin. So I was like, yeah, give me McMillan. This is an easy fit. The next day after the trade, McMillan turned up lame on a rare Saturday practice report because Tampa Bay had a Monday night game this week. I got shit out of that trade, and then Brandon went ahead and used Ricky Pearsall against me, and he scored his first career touchdown. 17 points, 4 catches, 73 yards.
Yeah, again, you're playing against Tampa. If you're a wide receiver, you up the stats on all your wide receivers when you're playing against Tampa because anything is possible with wide receivers there. So yeah, but the rest of that Pearsall stock, you just sell it. George Pickens, I would say for my own thing at my Salute is George Pickens. I remember on this channel we rag on Pittsburgh Steelers diva wide receivers, how they hate their quarterbacks and feel that they're this and the third. George Pickens might be the only one that was right. He was like, dude, Kenny Pickett isn't good. This isn't good. I don't like this. Y'all got to do better. Help me. Give me something better. And he's like, you gave Russell Wilson, and now this man's a 50-50 ball. He catches every 50-50 ball. He's a real deal.
When we were covering Mile High Salute earlier in the season, let me find this. Pickens was like his 4th or 5th receiver because he was so loaded at receiver. So let me go to like week 2. Yeah, in week 3, Mile High Salute had Stephon Diggs, DK Metcalf, and George Pickens and Deontay Johnson in the lineup. And now he is down to just George Pickens. DK Metcalf had to trade him to get James Cook back. And Stephon Diggs got injured.
Yeah, he dropped James Cook. That's what happened. He dropped James Cook to try to win that game.
He did win the game,
but he played himself. He dropped a starter. You know what I mean? A RB1 just to pick up a RB3 to win a game. That's tough. He
had to do it because if he didn't do it, he'd be 3-7 right now and just totally cooked. He still has a swinging chance at 4-6. My game, Jayden Daniels, 11 points. That's his worst game of the season that he played the full game in, by far. I can't depend on him getting 30 every week. That was an absurd run he was on. Tony Pollard, a quiet game with 11. I had to play Tyler Algier for the second game in a row. 9 again. That's pretty good for a guy you pull out of your ass. But I traded him after this game for Tajay Spears because I wanted Pollard's handcuff, and they're essentially the same guys statistically.
Yeah, plus you have Brian Robinson coming back, so you could afford to do that. You can afford to do that there. Let's see. You had Keenan Allen on the bench, 5 catches, 44 yards. He made some noise. Your Minnesota defense really carried your team this week with the high point. Two
number one
interceptions,
ranked
one
defense.
fumble recovery. Yeah, that's Brian Flores. Brian Flores, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He can't be a head coach apparently, but he can be a great defensive coordinator.
He will be. He'll be a coach again. He's a damn good coach, and yeah, this job he's doing with the Vikings has proven that.
Tyreek Hill, I think you're due next week. He might spring loose because he's due. Tyreek Hill's got to come up.
He's banged up.
Yeah, it's tough in Miami right now, but they're figuring out. Cooper Kupp 7 for 80. He's having a quiet. This might be his twilight of his career right here this year. I don't see him doing anything more next year because now we're at week 10. You can start seeing you can start projecting out the next year. You know what I mean? It's like, is Cooper Kupp going to be? He's like a wide receiver 3 next year.
Yeah, that's a good call. I can probably squeeze a wide receiver 2 campaign out of him the rest of the way, assuming he stays healthy. He had 7 catches, 7 targets, 80 yards. But yeah, I drafted him at number 49. Like next year, he's going to go after 50, I think.
Yeah, there's no way. Unless somebody's not keeping up. They're like, yeah, let me get Cooper Kupp. And you're like, all right, well, good luck with that.
Yeah, you're just drafted on name value. Brock Bowers was on a bye week, and I lucked into getting Hunter Henry like a week ago. I saw Bowers had a bye week, and who was it? Sweetness 34 dropped Hunter Henry, and I was like, oh, that's a perfect bye week fill-in next week. I traded him after this game for Khalil Herbert, kind of like, hey, I'm going to drop this guy. And Brindle was like, I'm going to drop this guy. And I was like, well, I need a running back and you need a tight end. So you can have Hunter Henry. Khalil Herbert, he only got 1 carry, and he fumbled even though Burrow got blamed with the fumble. So I read that they worked out Leonard Fournette this week and someone else, but yeah, they might have
they didn't go forward with it. They were like, nah, we're good.
And Josh Downs has filled in fantastically for me since Godwin went hurt. This is Downs in his last 3 games. 17 catches, 29 targets, over 200. I don't feel like doing the math. 109, 60, and 72 receiving yards. A touchdown. That's 21, 12, and 14 the last 3 weeks. That's 47 points last week. But Anthony Richardson is back at quarterback, so, what the fuck am I supposed to do with Josh Downs now? You know what I mean?
Pray. You could pray. You could pray.
Yeah, I don't know. I might play him, I might not. But he's been pretty good the last couple weeks. That's it for me. Austin Seibert, my kicker, number 1 ranked kicker coming into this week. Missed the game. I picked up some guy I never heard of from the Cardinals. Highland was his name?
Ryland. Yeah, Ryland. And you picked him up at the right moment because it was the game where they played against, they just blew the Jets out, where usually Arizona has a hard time scoring. This is the week you picked them up where they actually scored 31 points. So they gave you 7, so that's serviceable.
Yeah, I probably would have kept him, but they were on a bye this week. So now I picked up Zane Gonzalez because Seibert's been ruled out again. And so I have the rare kicker handcuff on my roster for this week.
That's extremely rare.
On to the next one. We got Stealing the Wins versus Smashawk. Smashawk, 6-4, only scored 100 points. Stealing the Wins scored just enough at 109. Daniel Jones got the start for him. He scored a rushing touchdown, 2 picks. There was a report this week that the Giants will be evaluating their quarterback position because Jones is one of those injury guarantees where if he gets hurt, the remainder of the season. He's guaranteed $23 million next season. How many over or under one more game do you think we see Daniel Jones as a Giants starting quarterback before they put him in bubble wrap?
Under one game.
You don't think he starts this Sunday?
Anymore. He's done. No, they're putting another guy in. If he's injury protected, that's why I hate it. I hate it when franchises, we saw Denver do that and all this like, oh well, we're evaluating, but just be honest. You don't trust Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones played a bad game against Carolina. There is a play where they did a flea flicker, and my man literally had a wide open wide receiver, and he held the ball and got sacked. So, that's on game film. You know what I mean? Where you could throw the ball and he didn't do that. You could see that. I could see it, and I'm not there. So he's injury protected. They don't want to get injured, so he's fully guaranteed next year. They're gonna cut bait with him. That's it. They're gonna move on.
I think he'd be an interesting backup for somebody, but you definitely don't want him starting on your team.
He'll definitely be an interesting backup.
Yeah. Saquon Barkley only 12 points, 66 yards as the Eagles just stomped the Cowboys in a very amusing game. Aaron Jones, 17 points, 88 yards. He left the game with an injury but came back. Drake London, 17, 8 catches, 97 yards. His nice season is continuing. But there's really not much else here. Dowdle. He left Eckler on the bench. He survived that. I mean, if Brian Robinson's not playing, you got to play Eckler. He's got 4 good running backs, though, but I would have played him over Dowdle for sure.
The big thing with this for me that stands out for real is that, again, Jalen Waddle's stock is still rough this year. Even with Tua back, we're still not getting these high catches yet. Like, you're talking about Tyreek Hill and Waddle combined for 6 catches this past week. That's tough. That's real tough.
Waddle is the 62nd ranked receiver. He's still rostered in 86.8% of leagues. So for whatever reason, team fantasy players are just scared to drop Waddle.
They're scared to drop him because you roster him because we saw what his rookie season, he had 104 catches with Tua, right? 100-something catches. He had over 100 catches rookie season. And he's always been a PPR monster. Just for whatever reason, this year, it's a down year. It's a very down year for the Dolphins when it comes to wide receivers. The big story here is Smashawk. What's Smashawk's record right now?
6-4.
Because he was on fire at the beginning of the season. And then he cooled off. He cooled off way off. Like his team, like you're looking at his team right now, and you're like, this doesn't feel like a Super Bowl team anymore. Like it felt like Super Bowl earlier. Like we were like, man, Smashawk gonna like march to like the Super Bowl again, and it's like now it's kind of like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, he traded Kyler Murray to dead money for it was one of the Texans receivers. It was either Tank Dell or Nico Collins. I think it was Tank Dell. Yeah, because he's got Tank Dell on his roster. So. And since that trade, or around that time, C.J. Stroud, 7 points, 20 points, 13 points, 14 points. So C.J. Stroud has been letting him down. He played Tua this week, but Tua only scored 14 points. So he has like a boring quarterback controversy on his roster now.
Correct.
But Alvin Kamara, 21 points, 55 yards. Rushing, he had another 54 on 5 catches receiving. He's had double digits every week. He's been great. I have a stat here. Alvin Kamara now has 6,544 career rushing yards. He became the Saints' all-time leading rusher. Do you know who he passed for the Saints' all-time rushing lead?
Deuce McAllister.
No, that's a good guess though.
Oh, okay. Well, that's pretty good.
Another one.
I thought the deuce was loose on that one. I have no idea then.
Mark Ingram.
Mark Ingram, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think Mark Ingram he ran that many yards because I don't feel he played that long enough. Deuce McAllister was like a figurehead in the early 2000s with them, so I would have really leaned on Deuce McAllister on that.
Ingram took like 3 or 4 years to get going too. It looked like he was going to be a bust, and by the time he kicked it back up. But
I just feel like Alvin Kamara's career at the Saints is so much better than his. So, like, that's why it's hard to, like, believe he's the all-time leading rusher. But, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. Because Kamara came out of the gate swinging, where, like I just said, Ingram had a slow start. There's not much here for Smashawk either, though. I went over the quarterback thing. He didn't play Dallas Goedert, who returned. He scored a touchdown on the bench for 10 points. He went with Taysom Hill.
The Chicago head coach let him down. If he didn't play Chicago head coach, he'd have won the game.
Good point. Yep, that's it. That's really all we need to say about this one.
That's it. Chicago let him down. Chicago against New England, and and to me, honestly, I probably wouldn't have done it because that's a pick'em game. Chicago versus New England, 2 rookie quarterbacks, 2 defenses that are pretty good. It could go either way. And we saw the way it went. So, I would have, I would never start a Chicago head coach. That's not a surefire win there.
Yeah, and they've been reeling since that Hail Mary just pretty much ended their season.
Yeah, definitely. His kicker, 15 points. That's crazy.
Last note for Smashawk, Kyron Williams scored a rushing touchdown in the first 6 games of the season. He hasn't had one in 3 weeks. He did get a receiving touchdown, but that's still 2 weeks in a row without a touchdown after having a lot. The Rams might be, coming unglued a little bit after they put together a little winning streak.
Yeah, it's tough.
Next one is Sweetness 34. He's on a 3-game losing streak, too. He had crawled up to 3-4, is now down to 3-7. Zug Offspringen, which is formerly Boy Scout Trombones, is up to 4-6. He almost got 40 high fives this week. He fell 2 behind Spawn. This game was 171 to 139. What do you see in this one? Oh, he played Amari Cooper again.
Even if he started anybody else on his team, it wouldn't have mattered. He would have started Roma Duje, and it wouldn't have mattered. When your opposing team, when you go against somebody who scores 55 points, that's a hard hill to climb up. Even though his fantasy special teams was amazing this past week, with 46 points is money, absolute money. So, but Devontae Smith 3 points. His wide receivers combined for 3 points. You know what I mean? It's like you had the flex person, you had his flex under that 7 points. That's it. Like that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
So it's a tough time. Hawkinson though hit for him last week. He didn't hit for him. This week it hit for him. So that's good. You know what I mean? And Bijan Robinson is turning into the real deal. He is. I have to admit that.
2 touchdowns. Yeah.
2 of them.
Yeah, he's a top 3 pick next year in fantasy. I'd take him over McCaffrey easy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, great point with the wide receiver 1, 2, and flex. That's 7 points. That's why he lost. He had very good special teams. 46 points to 22, but Jamar Chase, the 55 points, 11 catches, 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. That was on a Thursday, too, so you wake up Friday morning, you see that, and you're just like, well, I lost this
I have
week.
a long weekend here. This sucks. Right, I have a long weekend. This sucks. Like, you have to hope for a lot of things not to go right, and it's, trust me, that 55 does a lot of heavy lifting. You know what I mean? He could have ran no tight end, no flex. That would have been just enough. Like, just keep going. Like, it's a lot going on. Jalen Hurts dropped to 36 because they absolutely trounced Dallas, as we mentioned. So yeah, that's the story. Name of the story there. His bench. Bo Nix is having a quiet little season here. But beyond that, he's not a lot happening on the bench itself for his team. But Jamar Chase, 11 for 264 is just crazy.
Yeah, this is kind of a smoke and mirrors 171 because it's propped up by Jalen Hurts' 4 touchdowns and Jamar Chase's 3 touchdowns. And then that's really it. Najee Harris scored a touchdown, but yeah, good win for Jones. He's still alive.
90 points. 2 people, 90 points. That's...
Yeah.
Shit.
Which would have been comparable to our next game, 110 to 102, so... Lionheart is 4-6. New Day, Slade is now on a 2-game losing streak. He's 4-6. This was a winnable game for him. I swear all his games are pretty close. He got a 0 from Chris Rodriguez Jr., who was, I would say that was a good play going into the game because Brian Robinson was ruled out, and Chris Rodriguez, they like how he runs, and they gave him the work late in the game the week before, so it looked like they might carry that over into this week, and they just didn't use him at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But Lionheart, again, Lionheart is the Detroit Lions, so when they do, as they go, as this team goes, Jared Goff 5 interceptions. That's wow. You know what I mean? So 240 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's 14 points, and he essentially ties Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins 306 yards, but no touchdowns at all. So he didn't play Tampa. So what can he do? His Detroit running backs are getting the ball. They're making it move. Puka had a nice little game there, 9 for 98. Malik Neighbors 6 for 50, so I guess he's moving quite along. Sam Laporta is 3 for 66. That's one of his best games this year. But he's also banged up now, so that's a thing.
AC joint.
Yeah, that's a thing there. He started the New York Giants head coach over for Carolina. I get it, but yeah, he got burned there. My big thing for his team is Quentin Johnston. He bothers me because that's his stat line. He's a person. He's hard to start. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
2 for 24 touchdown. It's like he has low targets, but he'll get loose for a touchdown. Like they'll forget about him and he'll get a touchdown. But he gets no targets on that team really, so it's hard to like justify yourself saying I'm gonna put him at flex unless you're like I have nobody.
Yeah, he has 5 touchdowns on the season. He is plus 26.8% rostered, so people are, throwing darts at him. But yeah, like you said, you don't want to put him in the lineup. He's fine on your bench. But Tank Bigsby, who I traded to him the week before, got injured. That was a well-timed trade by me. ATN had come back. He missed practice today, so that's someone he probably won't have this week either. He got the one touchdown, the game-winning touchdown from Mike Williams of the Steelers. That's 1 catch, 32 yards, a touchdown, 10 points in his Steeler debut. How worried are you on Breece Hall? 15, 16, and 16 the last 3 weeks.
I'm not worried. I think that's his stat line. He's the starter. He's going to get these. Aaron Rodgers can't throw deep like that anymore for real. He's not going to throw it all over the yard like that anymore. So he's going to get those nice little points like that. A little more concerned. He's waiting for Nico Collins to come back. So that's the thing there. He had a good call playing New England defense.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was just tough. Tolbert let him down. Dallas let him down. Zay Flowers didn't get the ball. So Lamar was doing everything. When we get there, we'll talk about it. But Zay was left off the game plan there in that game. They just didn't get the ball to Zay Flowers this time.
Yeah, he didn't have Josh Jacobs, who was on a bye week. If he has him, he might have won this game. Great call with the New England defense because they're not getting too much play this season. And if he had won this game, I might have given him the Patriots defense the player of the week. They're only owned in 6% of leagues. They're the 22nd ranked defense. So to get 27 points out of them is a good call. But it wasn't enough for the win. On to Jordan, 5-5. He loses to Spawn, who just keeps rolling. He's 8-2. Spawn got the 40 high fives. He won this one 173 to 159. Mahomes, 22 points, 266 touchdown. That's pretty good for him with his new low bar. McCaffrey, he got McCaffrey back.
You got McCaffrey back, and a lot of those McCaffrey points are receiving yards, receiving catches, and all that. He had a long catch in that game too that really helped those yards out for that. But his running was kind of like it's shaky at best. We'll see what it looks like.
Shame on Kyle Shanahan. You need Christian McCaffrey pretty much more than any other team needs any other player right now. They waited 10 weeks to get him back. They've lost Ayuk to injury. And you get this guy back and you give him 19 touches in his first game back. They should have capped him at 15. And the 49ers have proven that they can plug anybody in at the running back position and get, replacement level production out of him. That Isaac Arundo the other 2 weeks ago before the bye had a very nice game. Give him some carries. What the Kyle Shanahan, you arrogant asshole.
There is a fear in Kyle Shanahan's heart that in that game they lost. They won a nail biter against Tampa. So back-to-back weeks, Tampa playing these close games, and the Arizona, they're looking up at Arizona. Arizona's leading their division. So,
yeah.
He's trying to keep up. If they lose, they'll fall back farther. And if Niners miss the playoffs, and we're talking about a lot of their cap, situation is going to take effect this year because the McCaffrey contract, the Nick Bosa contract, all these contracts are really going to start hitting harder, and you got to pay your quarterback finally. The Roosters come to roost, and he'll be afraid he will not be the head coach of that team. So he's like, I'm going to have to use McCaffrey like I need to use him. But Jay Jennings for San Fran, smart move to play him. Again, you're playing against Tampa, so yeah, that's how you do it. But Cortland Sutton, 6 for 70 yards, man. That's kind of surprising there. Kelsey's emerging. I'll say that now. We're emerging. 8 for 64. All right, and a tutty. So that's what's up. That's always good to see there. He started the Charger defense, so Charger defense handled their business like they should. Kansas City head coach is guaranteed 10 points right now this year, so it's just easy 10 for him. But they could have used Jordan Mason a little bit more that game to really alleviate the pressure. So it's interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, we're spending a lot of time here on Jordan, even though he lost this game. I feel like his roster has finally taken shape, and if he can get in the playoffs, he's dangerous. He's got Mahomes, McCaffrey, Connor, Sutton. Jennings is now, in the Ayuk role, and he's proven that he can fill those shoes when he's healthy. Kelsey has picked it up tremendously the last few weeks. And then this week he was without T. Higgins and Nick Chubb that, he would have rather had in the flex spot than Dalton Kincaid. He needs another option for his bench other than Jamal Williams and Josh Palmer, but I think if Jordan can get into the playoffs, he's dangerous. To spawn here, though, 47 points from Burrow. He punched him in the mouth on Thursday. 4 touchdowns, 428 yards.
So, how many times can Joe Burrow do this season? I feel like Joe Burrow is one of the most frustrating quarterbacks I've ever seen because he will have an absolute F game, and then he'll play the Baltimore Ravens twice this year already and has 9 touchdowns against them.
Right. So in 3 games this season, he has 14 touchdowns. In the other 2, 3, 4, 5. In the other 6 games, he has 3, 5, 8, 10 touchdowns. So he has 14 touchdowns in 3 games, and then 9 in the other 6.
So it's a tough road to hope with there. I guess you're gonna enjoy the money while it's there. Joe Mixon is continuing one of the best hit sleepers this year. With just keep chugging along. Hey, do what you gotta do, right?
25 carries, 46 yards for Mixon.
Running him into the dirt. They're gonna run him into the ground.
He had 44 yards receiving.
Right. The Cincinnati Bengals running back, though, C. Brown, again, emerging as a major threat there. He had a touchdown, a fumble as well. 42 yards rushing, though, but a lot of receiving yards. So that's a big deal, especially for the Moss owners who own Zach Moss. And you're like, this is the value that Zach should have gave. Because Zach could do that. He did it in the Colts last year. That's what's weird. That's why they don't use him in that capacity. But yeah, it's not a lot much else to say. Bruce Irving found the end zone as well. He was running hard on San Francisco defense, which is crazy. So Yeah, Bucky. I said Bruce Irvin, didn't I?
Yeah.
So yeah, Bucky ran hard and he found the end zone as well. So it's that's interesting. This guy's number one team in the league right now. He is securing that number one spot right now. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, he did this with Kenny Walker on a bye week. And if Bucky Irving is going to run like this, Spawn already had a great running back trio. He might have a running back quad now if Bucky is going to continue to run hard. Big win for him. So this takes us to your game. What happened? You lost for the first time in over a month. Renegades of Funk, 3-game winning streak. You guys are both 6-4. You had a huge opportunity to grab that third seed in the standings.
It goes simply as that Brian Thomas, Jacksonville, he's kind of a punkin right now if J-Law's not playing because, I thought the backup quarterback, his name was it Matt Jones?
Yeah,
could
Mac
do
Jones,
something.
Yeah,
I thought Matt Jones could do something. He did nothing. He was terrible. He was atrocious. As if I started Ridley, I'd have won. You know what I mean? If I started Ridley, I'd have won. You know, if I started Kate Otterton, but if I started Mark Andrews, I would have won. So it's like there's different avenues where it coulda, shoulda, the ball could have bounced a little bit differently. I started Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold sucked. I knew Baker Mayfield wasn't going to have a good game against the Niners. That's why I sat him. And 3 points different, it proved correctly. But I didn't see 3 interceptions against Jacksonville defense for Sam Darnold. He's turning into a pumpkin, and I'm on the fence. Like I'm giving him this week, and he has to do something. And if he doesn't do something this week, I'm going to cut him immediately Monday. So
yeah, I think you can cut him. But the reason why I can understand you being hesitant is because Baker is kind of in the Jayden Daniels boat. Not because he's hitting a rookie wall, but because he's without Evans and Godwin, and that just neutered him. And
I think a part of me is like with Baker is right now. Baker's an unknown territory for him career-wise, because right now he's like top 3 touchdowns. You know what I mean? So it's like he's throwing a touchdown every week, at least one. I think he has like 26 on the year, I believe, right now. So this is week 11 coming up. They're still they still have another 7 games ahead. He might go to 40 touchdowns this year. That's outrageous for him. So
right.
he might get that's outrageous. He's on pace to hit 40 touchdowns, which is crazy. So I have to temper expectation a little bit.
Right. There's a severe market correction looming for Baker Mayfield, because if he finished with 33 touchdowns at the end of the year, you'd be like, oh, Baker had a nice season. But if that were to happen, then you would know he only threw 7 touchdowns over the final 8 weeks or whatever, which is possible with his shitty receiving situation.
But I have dark clouds rolling in on me here. Let's say Pacheco is coming back soon, so Kareem Hunt value might slip. You know what I mean? I might lose Kareem Hunt as my running back number 2. He's been since I picked him up, he's been 20 every week. So I'm about to lose that. So that's going to be a situation there. I have to try to figure out how to mitigate that. But yeah, I even tried to try to make up the difference here by starting the Miami head coach. I picked up the Miami head coach Sunday night. I was like, maybe if they win, I have an outside shot. But Brock Purdy, 32 points. He played against Tampa. That's what the quarterbacks do against them. He went to town, so there's nothing I could do there. And Hamas St. Brown, the game was looking bleak. I had a chance, and then when the Lions rallied back, Hamas St. Brown was a big deal about that and got him back in the game.
Yeah, Devontae Adams has 6 catches on 13 targets for 31 yards. That goes into Aaron Rodgers just broken, and he's just trying to force the ball to...
Do you understand how crazy that sounds? If we said that back in 2019, Devontae Adams has 13 targets. We would have saw 12 catches, 13 targets, 180 yards, at least 2 touchdowns. It'd have been just a monster game. Now, what is this? Like, Devontae Adams, I can't put it all on Aaron Rodgers. There is a highlight of him dropping a pass. He dropped a touchdown. He dropped a touchdown. It got thrown right to his face, and he dropped it. Devontae Adams. So, I wish it went to Garrett Wilson or to won this week, but hey.
He left the Detroit head coach on the bench, almost gave you an opening. And then, like you said, you got a black cloud with Pacheco looming over Hunt. Gus Edwards also returned this week, which might eat into J.K. Dobbins' heavy work that he's been getting with the Chargers, the last 2 months or so. And then Funk only got 2 points from Javonte Williams. He had 1 yard on 1 carry. There was some, I don't even know his name, Audric Estime. He went to Notre Dame. He was the hot waiver commodity this week. He got 14 carries for 53 yards in this game for Denver. So it looks like Funk might not be able to rely on Javonte Williams. And then he got a -7 from the Bengals defense. That almost helped you out.
Yes, and it still wasn't enough because I played the wrong. Again, if it would have been my tight end, I made one switch, or the wide receiver made one switch, I would have won the game. That's the key to it. So, I have to, eat that loss. I was on a 5-game winning streak. It's what it is. That's it's unfortunate. Like I said, I blame this loss on Matt Johnson. Matt Jones. Matt Jones, you're the reason why I lost this week because you 2 for 12. Come on, man. Come on now.
Yeah, and Ridley's been playing so well lately. On to the next one. Our last one, Dead Money versus Tampa Bay. Dead Money, just the shitstorm continues. 2-8, another losing streak, this one of 2 games. Punishers, 153 to 136. 8-2. He is still tied with Spawn for the top spot. Lamar Jackson, again, 46 points on a Thursday, 4 touchdowns. Chuba Hubbard is just killing it. He is the number 6 ranked running back. He had another 34 points, 28 carries, 153 yards, 1 touchdown. Another 4 catches for only 16 yards receiving the ball. Terry McLaurin, 5 catches, 113 yards. He's had a renaissance this year. He got 10 points out of Wan'Dale Robinson, in a filler role. ATN returned. He got 11 carries, which is his most since week 4 against Houston. In his previous 3 games, not including the 2 he missed. So his previous 5 weeks, previous 3 games, he only had 12 carries. So he had 11. So they're bringing him back to life, which is good for the Punishers. He got a 0 from the kicker and a losing head coach, but he's playing Dead Money, who is just Roshan Johnson, 1 point for Dead Money. If you're playing Roshan Johnson, I've had to do this in Jordan's league. I don't want to talk about the other league because it's just confusing, but I learned from that league, if you're playing Roshan Johnson, you're in a fucking bad spot.
Dead Money, look, Freeman, on all accounts, this is probably, we're seeing what Freeman's team could almost do as a potential. This is what the team, his potential his team could do. Because Kyler Murray, this is probably Kyler Murray's best game he had all year. 3 total touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles, over 250 yards throwing. You know what I mean? He threw to Marvin Harrison Jr. You know what I mean? Not a lot of yards there, but you got a tutty. A-Chain, getting his value like he does, catching the ball, 13 points. CeeDee Lamb, though. CeeDee Lamb stock. Sell. Oh, my gosh.
The trade deadline is this Friday.
6 for 21. Oh, my God. That's terrible.
As not good as Tyreek Hill has been, I'm so glad I made this trade now because CeeDee Lamb is totally fucked with Cooper Rush at quarterback.
6 for 21. You mean there's catches for negative yards in there, catches for 0 yards in there. That's bad. He had Deontay Johnson, 1 point. The Ravens, positive side for him, the Ravens made a point to say that, hey, we are adding him to our offense, so they're going to start drawing plays up for him eventually. So we'll see how it goes. Philly defense, 34 points. His fantasy special teams, 54 points.
Yeah, it's still not enough. He won the special teams contest 54-12 when you account for the 0-point kicker who missed 2 field goals for Denver, Will Lutz, and the losing Atlanta head coach. Nothing really on the bench. Russell Wilson, 25 points on the bench for Hine.
I got my head scratcher here is that so Jay Brooks from Carolina, he's still out, but they're planning on bringing him back. Why does he move Chris Olave to the injured reserve spot? Just stop playing games.
Yeah, he drafted Brooks 107 overall during the draft, and he's just been plugged into his IR spot the whole time. I would have cut bait by now. I mean, what are you waiting for?
Is he a running back? He's a running back, right?
Yeah, so preseason it was reported that he was going to split carries with Hubbard, but Hubbard is just taking that job over. They gave him a contract this week, too.
Yeah, they gave him a contract, and they said they want to build a future around him. I would temper expectations on Chuba Hubbard. 34 points every week is not expectation. That is not it, okay? Especially when they got Tampa twice this year at the end of the year. So Chuba they're good at stopping the run. But I know that just based off that. But Carolina, they've had the sun shine down on them the last 2 weeks, give them some wins. Dude, I would look back to the dark days and see what those Chuba Hubbard numbers were at like 19, like 15 to 25. That'd be more expectation. That's 153 yards total yards. Like you're not gonna play the Giants. The Giants are in disarray. The Giants are wondering if they're gonna get a new head coach next year.
My last note for this one is Lamar Jackson. His passer rating is currently at 123.2. The record, full season record, is 122.5. It was set 13 years ago in 2011 by a player who was still active. Do you have a guess on who that was?
That'd be Aaron Rodgers then.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
Do you think he'll break the record?
Hot season.
I don't think he will.
It'd be hard to do.
It's just such a small margin of error.
Because you could have one semi-rant game and then all of a sudden you just lose it. Yeah.
So you got a player of the week?
My player, my fantasy hero this week, I'm going to give it to, just as a swan song, because we're not going to see this guy anymore. He was on a winning team as Mr. Daniel Jones, 190 for rushing yards, and he had a rushing touchdown and 2 interceptions. But on stealing wins, he helped. He was a quarterback for that team and helped them win. So Daniel Jones, it was nice seeing you. Best luck to you on what team you'll be in the future.
Yeah, he was filling in for Geno Smith, who was on a bye week. That's a good one. I wanted to give mine to Chuba Hubbard, but we give it to Punishers every week with his. We didn't even mention Derrick Henry scored another touchdown.
Yeah, Derrick Henry scored 16 points, and we're like pedestrian.
I'm going to give mine to Tyrone Tracy Jr., another Giant. So double Giant player of the week. Tyrone Tracy Jr. had 21 points, 103 yards, a touchdown. He did fumble, though, but Funk needed every point he could get in a 111-107 win. Tyrone Tracy Jr., the last 3 weeks, 30 points, 13 points, 21 points. He just is a solid running back. Like, if we were drafting today, knowing what we know now, Tyrone Tracy would be probably picked in the first 3 rounds, and we didn't know who the hell he was in August.
What sucks is I had Tyrone Tracy. I drafted him. I didn't know who he was.
Oh, yeah, he was drafted.
I drafted him. I was auto-drafted him. It was like he auto-picked on him. I was like, okay. And I was like, he's backed up Singletary. And then I dropped him because the Giants like, Singletary does everything we want him to do. We love Singletary. And I was like, well, damn, he gets no carries, and they're boosting up the other guy. I know nothing about this guy. I have to drop him. And I made moves picking up other people, so I don't regret it. You know what I mean? Because I got Kareem Hunt and all that picking up. So I can't be like, oh, I'm missing out a running back. My running back situation hasn't been a problem this year. You know what I mean? I figured out a way. I had Ford. I moved off Ford right on time. And then so I've done it right. But Tracy is a guy that I didn't see it. So, props to Tracy.
Yeah, that's fair. kind of relieved that he was auto drafted and you didn't know who he was after I said, we didn't know who the hell he was. But, yeah, Tyrone Tracy, double Giants this week. And then that brings us to our Hall of Famer. You ready for this? It's my week.
Let's go.
I am going with... He's listed at 5'8", 206 pounds. He only lasted 6 seasons in the NFL. He was drafted in the second round, 55th overall in the 2008 NFL draft by the Baltimore Ravens out of the University of Rutgers. A first-team All-American, 2-time Big East first team, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, and a Super Bowl 47 champion. In 6 seasons... He had 6,180 career rushing yards, averaging 4.3 per carry. He was a dual threat with 359 career receptions, 3,034 receiving yards, 43 total touchdowns. His career ended in a scandal when his wife provoked him in an elevator, so we welcome Ray Rice to the Fantasy Football Hall of Fame.
Let's go. Ray Rice, man. Let me tell you. Ray Rice, he was a good player, man. And you're right. His career ended in a scandal, and it sucks because I've seen videos of Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, Joe Mixon do stuff to women in restaurants and hotels too, and they're not dating them, the women. Ray Rice did that to a then girlfriend, and now he's married to said woman who the film of him doing that elevator to this day, and his career was short. My man was he was like Maurice Jones-Drew 2.0.
Yeah, he definitely had a lot more tread on the tires. He had a pretty bad season his final year, but the Ravens weren't done with him by any means. And I made a joke there at the end, and you shouldn't hit people, let alone women. But yeah, it's funny what we deem irredeemable and who we let back into the league with, you named a plethora of players there. And, Ray Rice just got the short hand of the stick. There was a lot of controversy with the way the NFL handled his suspension. I think that hurt him too. They only gave him 2 games. Then the video came out, the second video came out.
Right.
And I really think he was hurt with the 2-game suspension, because there was such a backlash to it.
They're like, yeah, you can't see the field no more. You can't see it for field for a year, and missing a year later in your career as a running back is an eternity. A la Le'Veon Bell, who might be a potential fantasy guy. He might be a potential fantasy Hall of Famer, maybe. I don't know. He's a MAGA guy. He's a MAGA guy right now. We'll see how that goes. He's getting a little nutty.
If we let in a known domestic abuser, we can let in a MAGA guy.
You have a point. He's a little nutty online. I need him to calm down so I can nominate him. I don't want to be like, oh yeah, man, I love Le'Veon. You like Le'Veon Bell like that? No, I do not. I do not associate myself with him.
Yeah, we're not playing, gatekeeper to the Fantasy Hall of Fame. It's based on the numbers. So Ray Rice, you're in. If anyone has a problem with it, you can, send an email to somebody.
Yeah, send an email to your congressman. See how they they figure it out.
What, this podcast with 5 listeners?
Who are you talking about? You get mailed a cease and desist letter. It's like, what do you mean? Remove him from your fantasy.
You got to take his name off the cardboard you write it on.
It's like, just scratch it out. Well, sorry.
I did like watching him play, though. That's really all I got on that.
One thing I remember about him is that my man had he was like Maurice Jones-Drew, man. He had the Saquon Barkley archetype. You know what I mean? When I think about it, Saquon was a little bit taller, but him, Nick Chubb, Ray Rice, they're all major squatters. They go to the gym and power lift, squats. They have gigantic quads, so you can't arm tackle them. You know what I mean? They're small, so you think you can, but then you can't because they run through you. Austin Eckler guys, that's the archetype that he fit in, and he was superior dual threat. Joe Flacco leaned on him a lot.
Yeah, he was perfect for the style that the Ravens wanted to run, and those were all great comps: Eckler, Jones-Drew, and Saquon. Yeah, Ray Rice just a career thrown away, for probably no good reason.
We salute you, Ray.
Well, a little bit. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you, guys.